In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I quit porn after struggling for 20 years. I failed over and over again, but I finally figured it out. And how you can copy what works for me to finally break free from endless relapse and get out of that shame cycle for good. And to make this super simple, I'm gonna give you my free 5-step urge processing training. This is the exact neuroscience-based step-by-step guide I used and still use whenever urge hit. Along with that, I've got a 10-minute video walkthrough that takes you through everything step by step. Just DM me on Instagram and say show me, and I'll send you the free training. You can find my Instagram in the description below this video. I'm Gamaliel, and for 20 years I was trapped. I tried every traditional method to quit porn. Going cold turkey, doing 90-day challenges, counting clean days, trying dopamine detoxes, quitting Netflix, watching YouTube videos like how porn destroys your brain, going to the gym, staying off social media, staying busy, praying harder, meditating, telling myself how evil porn was, even chasing big goals and visions. But none of it worked. No matter what I did, the urge always came back. And here's the thing, society likes to push this idea that porn struggles only hit lazy or unmotivated guys. But that wasn't me. I had a successful career. I worked across Russia, the UK, the US in multinational companies. However, I was living a double life. I was successful, but behind closed doors, this habit was draining me. It was eating up my time, my focus, and my mental energy. I was constantly battling urges in my head. And that mental fog, it affected everything. Honestly, I believe I would have gone even further in my career and life if I hadn't been stuck in that cycle for so long. But porn struggles don't care about your success. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter how much you achieved. This can grab anyone. And when it does, it's brutal, because what happens is you just want to move through your day focused, motivated, and on purpose. But the urge keeps pulling you back. You try cold turkey, you try all the usual methods, and maybe you make it 90 days, maybe more. But then the temptation builds up, the urge gets too strong. You cannot focus on anything else. It's right there in your mind, hijacking everything. And when you finally give in, the regret hits hard. You feel ashamed, you feel like you're not living true to your values. And more than anything, you're frustrated because this thing is stealing so much of your time and mental space. You just want to free up that mental energy and actually live your life. That's what I went through over and over. And here's what I learned. This wasn't about willpower. It wasn't about motivation. And it wasn't because I didn't have strong enough reasons. It was about my brain. The urge wasn't logical, it was automatic. Why deep from years of repetition? That's why nothing worked. Avoiding triggers, staying busy, chasing big goals, none of it solved the real issue. Everything changed when I stopped fighting and started facing the urge in a completely different way. I stopped running from it. I stopped trying to block it or distract myself. I learned how to process the urge, to actually feel it, sit with it, and allow it to pass without reacting. And once I did that, my brain started to unlearn the old pattern. Within about 5 weeks, I felt the shift. The urge didn't hit the same way anymore. It didn't control me. For the first time in 20 years, I could just walk away, Not because I forced it, not because I shamed myself into stopping, but because I finally changed what was really running everything underneath. Porn urges were never about porn, they were about emotional avoidance. Whenever I felt loneliness, boredom, anxiety, frustration, or especially shame, my brain was trained to escape. Porn became my go-to escape route. Let me explain exactly how this conditioning works, because this is crucial to understand. You probably heard the Pavlov experiment, right? Even Pavlov, a Russian scientist, ran about each time before feeding his dogs. At first, the dogs only salivated when they saw food, but after enough repetitions, the dogs began to salivate just from hearing the bell, even when no food appeared. The bell, which was once meaningless, became linked to the idea of food in the dog's brains. This is called classical conditioning. When a unusual stimulus becomes associated with a reward, creating an automatic response. And this is not just about dogs. Countless studies show classical conditioning happens in humans too. And here's how this links to porn. Emotions like loneliness, stress, shame, and even excitement became the sound of the bell. Porn became the reward, the temporary relief. So when discomfort or intense emotion showed up, my brain rang that bell. Each time there was a mental struggle, I tried to resist, I tried to redirect. I had goals, I had visions, I knew how much porn was hurting me. Sometimes I won, but more often, especially when tired, overwhelmed, or caught off guard, I lost. And this is extremely important to understand. A lot of people think setting big goals or creating a powerful vision will help them beat the urge. They believe if the reason is strong enough, they win. But urges don't care about vision. Even with the best reasons, even with a clear picture of your future, the urge still shows up automatically. That's classical conditioning. Your brain gets triggered and goes straight down the old path, no matter how much you want to change. And when that happens, something painful follows. You sleep, and now you compare yourself to the ideal version of you that should already be free. The future self you thought you should be by now. I should be better than this. I have a clear vision. Why am I still stuck? That disappointment cuts deep. It turns into shame. And that shame makes the urges even stronger. So chasing positive goals doesn't stop the urge. Others try the opposite. Instead of picturing the best version of themselves, they start picturing the worst. They remind themselves how bad this is. They convince themselves porn will ruin their life, destroy their future, take away everything they care about. But that doesn't work either. When they sleep, the judgment hits just as hard. Now it's ruining my future, I'm hopeless. And again, shame takes over. Both paths, chasing the ideal or running from the nightmare, lead to the same place. Shame gets worse, and shame feeds the urge. This is the trap. Positive visions don't stop the urge. Negative visions don't stop the urge. Both just push deeper into the shame cycle. Motivation and mindset hacks don't fix this. Vision and purpose still matter, but they only work after you break free. Remember Pavlov's bell from what I shared earlier. The urge is just like that bell, but here's what most important don't realize. The bell doesn't only come from outside triggers. The bell also rings from within you, through emotions, thoughts, and subtle moments in daily life. Loneliness, boredom, stress, frustration, excitement, or even relief, all of these can ring the bell and instantly trigger the urge. And when that happens, blocking websites didn't stop the bell, going to the gym didn't stop the bell, setting goals didn't stop the bell. The urge still came, and while I could resist sometimes, pressure continued building. Eventually, during weak or vulnerable moments, that pressure exploded. The bell rang loud enough and I gave in. But here's the most important part. Even if I could block the urge temporarily or avoid the triggers, the conditioned pattern itself remained intact. Because that's not how conditioned responses are broken. The only way out is to break the emotional and conditioned response. You have to change how you relate to the urge itself. In Pavlov's experiment, they didn't break the dog's response by removing the bell, avoiding it, or distracting the dog with something else. They broke it by doing the opposite. The bell kept ringing, but without any reward. No food, no dopamine, just the bell fully experienced again and again, until the brain stopped connecting it to food. Exposure without reaction. That's how the dog's brain unlearned the pattern. And it is exactly how I had to unlearn my old urge porn connection. Not by running away, not by avoiding emotional triggers, not by staying busy, not by setting big goals or replacing porn with a healthier escape. Avoiding mental and emotional triggers never broke the loop. I broke the conditioned response by fully facing the urge, welcoming it and processing it without reacting. That's where real change began. Because the moment I stopped running and simply allowed myself to feel the urge fully and without escape, my brain started learning something new. This discomfort doesn't need porn. This moment can pass on itself. And slowly the urge began losing its power. That's why those traditional methods never broke the chain. They didn't resolve the root issue or teach me how to face and process the urge directly. Until I learned to meet the urge exactly when it appeared and process it without reacting, nothing truly changed. I made this easy for you. Grab my free 5-step urge processing training. This is the exact process I use every day to break the cycle. Along with that, I got a 10-minute video walkthrough that takes you through it step by step. So just DM me, say show me on Instagram and I'll send you the free training. You'll find my Instagram in the description below this video. This training will show you exactly what to do the moment urges hit. No guessing, no fighting, just follow the steps, process the urge, and begin rewiring your brain today. Exactly like I did to quit porn after 20 painful years.